Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys have had an amazing weekend. It's been an amazing weekend for the girls, and last week was a crazy great success with the Modern Trader Summit, which we had in Montreal. And great, everybody absolutely loved it. The streaming went off. No issues this year. There was a little bit of a hiccup in the recording area, but other than that, everything went really well. I have to give a shout out to all of the speakers, to Jeremy Newsom, Andrew Aziz, Houston Trong, Tracy Suchart, as well as Marina Villatoro, Sean McLaughlin, Jake, and I'm missing one more person. Jeremy I already got. I'm going to have to look at the speakers list. In any event, we do have next year coming up, Philadelphia 2020. So if you are interested, just click here for the details of the event. And then this week, I do have 20% off all of my products through July 4th. Why? Because it's all about freedom, right? What is freedom to you? Living in North American continent, there's so many freedoms that we take granted every single day, but one of the best freedoms that has happened with hard work is working from home from my computer. So it doesn't have to be just about trading. You could do anything from anywhere as long as you set it up on a computer. But for mine in particular, if you go to how I got started, if you want to get the watch list or my book or even on-demand videos, everything is 20% off through July 4th. So definitely check it out. And one of the coolest things I learned about at Modern Trader Summit is this. You see these cool candles? Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so this is TrendSpider, and in the details down below, you can check it out. They have this really cool candlestick. It's a new development. I think it's really gonna, revolutionize the way of trading. So you can see where the volume was for the day on the candlestick, which is really cool for me because if anybody knows me, I love following the volume. So you can see on the left side here, this is the morning activity, right? So the majority of the morning volume peaked right here, around 292.51. Then the afternoon activity, you can see massive volume pretty much from the top to the bottom. And then in the middle of the day, right here, this dash line is obviously where we closed. So you can see really that there was massive volume in the afternoon session. Why? Was it that little, leak from Xi Jinping, whatever his name is, the president of China, about how he wanted to have intellectual property be okay? And, that's one of Trump's big things, because he bought the rights to so many different companies for intellectual property in China prior to him getting elected. So they didn't officially come up with a deal, but it's a deal that's in favor of Trump for later on once he gets out of the presidency. So Trump really likes this. Probably the market is going to like it on Monday. However, the market always determines what it's going to do. So let's get into some analysis. But if you haven't checked out TrendSpider, it's a 7 days free trial. You can check out the link below, bit.ly, and then everything down below that. So let's get into the week. So we've got the SPY here. This is Trading View as well. So this is the normal day. You can see it came back, it pulled to the 15 EMA, and then the bounce up, crossed up above the averages, and you can see this is the after hour session. So we closed right here, right, 293, actually way down here, it closed way down here, spiked up, came back down, and closed pretty much at where it was resistance all day. And then look at that, we have gone ahead and shot up 294.47. The futures are going to be setting up in just about an hour, so I'm really excited to see how it's going. We gap up, in my personal opinion, not looking at the volume, well, looking at the volume from Friday as well and where we ended up when we broke out. But look, this area has been resistance as well in the past. If we pull it back on the 15-minute chart here, we scroll back on TradingView, you can see it really was acting as resistance, came with support, 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 boom, we broke through it, big drop, and now we've flipped it, and now it's back to being support. So I think as long as this 293 level here, actually even down here a little bit further, down to just below here, 293.12, that line is 293.57. So right here where you can see where this was 293.14, the bottom of this area right here, the bottom of this drop down on volume right here as well. So 293.12 area or 20 area, if that area can hold, it looks like, you know, based on the candlesticks, that we are going to have that be a support area. And when we look back on the daily, sure enough, it came back, it pulled back to where it broke below the 4 and the 8 EMA, came and tested the 15, and then it ran up, okay? And one thing that I really like to look at is the 45-minute chart, the 90-minute chart, and what you'll see is really cool on the 180-minute chart. Where is it? You know what? I think it was on a different chart that I was looking at. But in any event, it came down and we touched a moving average. So it wasn't the 180 chart, but I thought it was. So let's look at the NASDAQ. Maybe it was a different one. So NASDAQ, you can see really we've come up again. We've got this resistance right here that was support. And so this support, now we flipped and we closed right at it. So is it going to break out from here? It's all going to depend on what happens with the futures and the market. And on the Russell, right, we had this resistance right here, and we broke up above it after hours. Let me go to the 1-year chart so we can pull that back out. You can see we have crossed, we came down below the 200-day moving average, crossed above it, crossed above the 50-day moving average, and that resistance right there of the 156.07 looks like we have broken that, like I said, in the after hours on Friday. So this could be a huge morning to wake up to tomorrow. Can't wait to see what happens. So let's get into the potential longs and shorts for the list. And let's see what's going on. So if you guys remember, sorry, just woke up from a nap. We had a crazy day. We did strawberry picking and we are heading out to dinner. So I'm trying to get this done really quickly. All right. So for my potential long, first one on the long list is ARA with potential resistance right here, support, excuse me, of 724 and resistance of 763. So we will get rid of this. Look at that nice gap fill right there above 763, right? If we can actually go ahead, the high of this candle right here is 8. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another horizontal line right at the top of 8. So it looks like potentially if we break 763, the first target would be that 8 level. And then after that, look at this gap fill, right? The low of this candle right here was 9.47. So $1.47 to the upside potentially. We had the big volume coming in on Friday. The averages are curling up. We just need to break this first resistance and then the second resistance, and it will be on up to 950 area. Next one on the potential long list is CCL. So let me go back to our 15-minute chart here, and let's get rid of these old levels down here from when it was on my watch list earlier this week. So CCL, Carnival had earnings, gap down. So it looks like this big resistance to be tested is 46.82, and then the support of 46.34. Again, when you look at it, it crashed down on earnings, found a bottom down here around 44.76, right, the 52-week low, and then it's bounced up. Now we've had 2 strong days coming up, but so have the markets as well, right? So it depends potentially on what's going on with the markets. We could go ahead and see a break of this 46.82 level and then a test of the high of this candle, which is coincidentally also right there near the 8 EMA. So probably a high of 47.28 before we might see a pullback come down. Now, if we break that, I think we're going to go up, and the next level would potentially be that 48.71 level. One that I've been watching all week, got a hater on Twitter on this, a couple people. They're like, what are you talking about? You don't know anything. Gotta love the fact that I know this stock from 2015 as a low float stock, 17 million in the float, had this massive crash. I've been tracking the short float volume on it on the daily. Also saw that it broke above the 21 EMA, which is one that I am really starting to love. Learned about it from Sarah Potter's book, actually. So check out the 21 EMA, which is close to, well, you just got to try it and see what works for you. So on the 26th, I mentioned it, I said, hey guys, this is going to squeeze, keep your eyes on it. On the 27th, again, higher activity. On Friday, it was on my watch list, ran up $1.50 from the potential entry point that I'd had. And now you can see, we'll put it on the 45-minute chart. So I would look for 44.23 for support and resistance of 45.60. And then look at that. We have this nice gap fill for the second drop on earnings. I would say really up to around 76.07, 76 area. Potential gap fill. We do have this 50 simple moving average that might act as resistance as well at 51.50. So we could have a nice $6 move to this on Monday. As you guys know, I do use VolumeBot and shortvolumes.com as well. So actually, I'll show you short volumes because that's a new one I've been using. I'm suspect to think that they might have been created by the same person. So let's go ahead and put an STMP. I like this because it goes ahead and it shows you the difference from the day prior, which is pretty cool. So on Thursday night, it was 62% short float volume. Friday, it was 59% short float volume. And you can see that right here too. 63, 56, and 59. So it actually increased, 3% on Friday. So keeping this on watch to know, I know there was another guy on Twitter, he put out that roughly 30% of the overall float of that 17 million. So the short interest overall for the stock is roughly, 30% of 17. So that would be roughly what, 5.5 million shares that are short. So we could have the potential for some great activity on this one on Monday, but it depends on what happens really with the market and the volume. Fizz. So Fizz, we've got it coming down. I've got this general trend line right here. It's gone down. It's had earnings. Great 2 days. It has tested that 21 EMA. Looking for it to break that trend line as well. So looking for support of 44.24 and resistance of 45.32 for the first test. Second test, 46.31. And then if we pull it on back out, then we're going to be watching for this trend line. Depending on what time frame you're on, it's just testing it. If we have some massive volume behind this, this could go ahead and run up as well. And I'm sorry, I haven't been touching on the floats of these stocks except for STMP, but they are all going to be posted on Instagram and Twitter, so check that out. Next potential long is USA Technologies. So it looks like we have a bit of head and shoulders potentially, but it looks like it could also rip up from here. Finding that this was resistance in the past, and then once it broke through, it broke out. So it came down, dropped down to the $7 level, and then it looks like what has been resistance in the past flipped to support. So let's look for support level of 730 and a resistance of 753, and then let's pull it on the 15-minute chart. So you can see that was also the 200 simple moving average on the 15. Closed at 750 after hours right here at this prior support level. So taking it back here to 753 for, resistance level. So taking it back to 753 for further potential breakout. When we look at it on the daily, you can see it came down, tested the averages, ran up, pulled back, came down, tested this level here, and then bounced up. We are just having the averages potentially cross up. The 8 is still above the 4 AMA. The 4 is the pink, the 8 is the purple. And we're all consolidated here. So it does have momentum. We do have earnings coming up, and they are a company that has issues as far as reporting to NASDAQ properly. So they did, I believe, get the uplisting on it. This is one I've been tracking for longer term as well. So keep it on watch, especially for a breakout above 815 as well. First on the potential short list is Rite Aid. So Rite Aid had a big spike up, pulled back, had support here, tested it, and then broke down on Friday. So looking for secondary support breakdown of 783 and 815 resistance to the upside. On the daily chart, you can see that it had earnings, had a big run up, came back, tested the 50 simple moving average, and we closed below it. So it could continue to go down further, 740 level to the 21 EMA here. We hit the 4 and the 8 is down at 741. So keep this one on watch. Might be a lower price stock for potential short to the downside. We also had HHC. They had a massive run up here, came back, same sort of thing, had support here and primary, and then it pulled back on Friday. So it might be just some initial profit taking, or it could be the start of some other people getting in further to short it back down to fill this gap to the downside down to 103. So keep it on watch for support break of 121.82 and resistance of 126. The next on the potential short list is MEC. So this one had a big drop on Friday at the end of day. So looking for continuation into the day on Monday. 1378 for support, resistance of 1404. We'll pull it back on the daily. You can see that it really did have that breakdown. Look at this dotted line. Again, came up, tested the 21 sub EMA, 20 simple moving average, 15 EMA, and it pulled back. So just looking at it technically, it was engulfing basically of the entire week. So that's pretty bearish. If we can also drop below 1378, definitely gap down here to 1335, and then further on move down. Next on the potential short list is ARWR right here. So again, this one had a great week, up high, and then we pulled back, broke below this level here on the 15-minute chart. 26.23 for support and 26.57. Now when we do look at it on the daily chart as well, you can see it bounced right off of this 21 EMA. So if we break below this level, there's going to be a pretty good chance we're going to find a resistance test around 25.79. This is prior ones, so we'll just get those out of the picture. And then after that on down 25.50, 25.10 level. If it does break down, it would, I think, be going down to potentially test as a future target of 22.75. Next on the short list is GTT. Again, you can see this one is setting 52-week lows, came down, had a little bounce, then it pulled back further on Friday. Really bearish looking candle right there. We did have more volume coming in. When we pull it back onto the 15-minute chart, look for support of 1749 as the first test to the downside, then secondary test down here of 1705, resistance of 1850 to the upside. And when we look at it on the 5-year chart, I like to pull it back if it's breaking down on 52-week lows. So it does look like this area could go down to 1650, potentially test there as well. And then 1530 after that. After that, we could go down even further and test this area down here around here at 1213. Now, excuse me, 1238. So two potential long-term swings on the list are Ego, which is one, if you guys follow me on Twitter and Instagram, was looking at this with our daughters this morning, teaching them all about charts. So this one has had a great move to it. Let's pull it back on the daily. You can see we went ahead and we've tested this resistance here, right? So if we break above the 582 area, next area is going to be 610, then on up here, 629, and then up further to 716. So in this one, definitely longer term holding myself and just keeping it on watch. Next potential long-term holding is ASUR. Again, same scenario, came down, bounced. It's been slowly upward trending. If you guys have read Mish Snyder's book as well about the 50 EMA, so the 200 EMA is just flatlining. We are coming up to test the 50 weekly moving average. If we break above this and we can break above the 200, it's going to be pretty bullish there as well. Just out of curiosity, let's check out Ego as well and see what's going on there with the weekly. So the weekly, we have the 200 simple moving average way up here at 1126, and you can see the 1 week for Ego, 50 simple moving average has flatlined a bit. We broke out above it, so that's fairly bullish. So I'm going to go ahead and put my alert here if it crosses below that 50 on the weekly for just a heads up. So as always, guys, carpe profit. Have a great week ahead. Enjoy your time with friends and family. Definitely check out TrendSpider's teardrops. They are amazing. And if you guys are interested in any of my products, 20% off at CJ and Trade. All right, carpe profit. Have a great week ahead. Bye.